Welcome to the Beyond the Years podcast, a podcast about all things Disney.
You are listening to episode 29. Today we're going to be talking about the first episode of She-Hulk, which just dropped today. What are your thoughts on the show?
You'll find out in a little bit.
Okay. So this will probably have a lot of spoilers because we tend to like to talk about
what happened in the show.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you want to say anything before we get too into it, or do you just want to start talking about the show?
Let's just start talking about the show. I don't have any other Disney news since we just did a podcast 2 days ago, talking about some new things at Disney. So I kind of just want to keep it just specific to She-Hulk today. I will say I really love the show. It met all of my expectations. It was just so fun to watch. I got to watch it 2 times today. You did as well. And it was just it's a really great show so far. I'm excited to see more.
Yeah, me too. So I kind of have like a questionnaire for you.
Okay.
So what were your like notable like, oh wow, that was cool moments? And then just along those lines of like, what wowed you in the show? Just starting off with just episode 1.
Yeah, so we didn't know for sure, or I didn't know exactly how she was going to turn into a Hulk. So I thought it was cool how it was like they had a car accident, she had a cut, he bled into her wound, and it was just that simple. And it didn't have to be like this huge thing, which I liked. I also was amazed at, because it's hard to predict what's going to happen in a show, like if you don't know anything about the comics like I don't. So I thought it was cool how she had complete control over the Hulk and when she could change.
Yeah.
And I thought Bruce's dynamic with her was really funny. He was trying to be, like that cool kid who has obviously gone through something, and he's like the only expert on it. So he was really excited about kind of the notion of being able to train somebody.
Yeah.
And, obviously he's really bummed out that that she took it so well. So I liked that. I also liked the location of the training.
Oh, in Mexico? Yeah.
It was beautiful and it was really fun and light. I like her in general. I like her sense of humor. I thought that was really good as well. Again, it kept it pretty light, which I think we all kind of need right now.
Yeah.
So those are kind of just, the main things.
Okay. So I'll tell you what mine were. First, like, I definitely didn't expect the show to be this good.
Yeah.
Starting off, I knew it was going to be like good, and I was super excited for the show just in general. But I mean, they really went for the home run swing here on the first episode, in my opinion, because it was just fun. Yeah. My notable things, I thought the CGI, because this is obviously they're Hulks, so it's very CGI heavy. Yeah. I thought the CGI looked like pretty good.
I agree. And I was looking for that more the second on the second watch, because I knew people were going to try to tear it apart.
Yeah.
So I was trying to look for anything that I could notice. It's not perfect, but I thought it was pretty good, and you're not going to really notice it unless you're like really trying to watch out for it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's a few, action sequences that like you can kind of see like the CGI-ness of the episode. But I mean, this is a 30-minute TV show, and the budget for this, I'm sure, is not like a movie budget. Yeah. Because each episode, well, the shows gets a movie budget, but it's got to be split up into, right, tinier sections.
So your runtime is twice as long as a normal movie.
Yeah. So I thought that like given the circumstances of that. Like the CG looked a lot better than most of the CG we've gotten in some of the other shows. Like there's a couple scenes in Moon Knight that are like not cringy, but like it takes you out of the moment just for like a second, and it doesn't look like completely polished.
Yeah, so I thought they did a really great job with Bruce's CGI. The Hulk, because they've done him before.
Yeah,
is probably easier. They're probably going to have to do some tweaks with just how they do her CGI because it's a new character. It's the first time they're working on it. And since, Mark Ruffalo has kind of taken over as the Hulk, they have done quite a few changes on his CGI.
Yeah.
So it'll take him some trial and error, but I thought it looked good.
Well, and another thing that I noticed, and like obviously like this would be the difference between, well, a lot of things from like he's a guy and she's a girl. And like we had talked about before, like the flexibility of her, and she's more agile and she's more like fluid. Yeah. Where he's more like big and broody. That goes along with like the face too. Like Mark Ruffalo's face has got more like, he's got facial hair. He's got more like stuff going on his face. Yeah. Where like like where I have like facial hair and I've got like rougher skin compared to you. So like when she's in her Hulk form, like her skin's just like more silky green because she doesn't have facial hair or like rougher skin and like makeup, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Her complexion is just a lot better than what like Mark Ruffalo's is kind of thing.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be harder to make that look realistic.
Yeah. And I thought they did a great job, like the scenes that do show like the up close face shots. But that's just something that you have to think about. Like a woman's complexion is going to be a lot better than like a male's complexion, like skincare and everything. Yeah. So.
Okay. So what else did you notice?
I think there's going to be a lot of Easter eggs throughout the show. I feel like it feels kind of Infinity Saga with the references to Tony, and because we haven't got that. And like Tony and Cap, and like where they're talking about the blip, and I think I like that it filled in a lot of gaps, because like the last time we saw the Hulk or Mark Ruffalo was in the end of Shang-Chi, and that hologram when Wong picks up Shang-Chi. So that was the last time we saw him, and everyone's like, why is there like a bracelet on his arm, and why isn't he Smart Hulk?
Interesting.
So there was just a lot of questions, like, one, why did he, like, how did his arm get fixed? Because that was a big thing going into this series. His arm got destroyed from the gauntlet in Endgame. How is he like functioning with a normal arm? Well, we get the answer to that because Jin's blood cured his arm. Yeah, practically. I don't know. It just there's a lot of gaps like that get answered for us, and I think that's really cool. I also think that their chemistry is great.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Between Ruffalo and Tatiana.
Yeah, I agree.
They almost feel like they could actually be cousins because they look kind of similar. So I really enjoyed that, the chemistry between the two. And let's see. Oh, the Sakaar.
Oh, yeah.
The spaceship reference. When he's like, yeah, I got to figure out what's going on there. Like, that's definitely setting up a World War Hulk storyline, I think. I think this series is really building up to something more hulky in the future. So, which I'm super excited about because I enjoy the Hulk character and I enjoy Mark Ruffalo's portrayal of him.
Yeah, I agree. I think their chemistry was really great. I love the kind of banter back and forth because obviously they're both taking it seriously, but at the same time, they're joking about it. I love her. I thought she was a really strong female lead. So I'm excited to see where the show takes her because she's got a mind of her own, and very quickly she realized in the show that she's totally fine to control her Hulk, and she doesn't really need to do any more training. Yeah. And he kind of fought her on that, but ultimately she decided that, she was good.
Yeah. I loved I love the whole training sequence.
Oh,
From
yeah.
like when she first wakes up to when he's downstairs in the lab and like he's explaining like what he was doing in the lab, and that's where he'd been during the blip and everything. So I really enjoyed like all the sequences of the training montage, especially when they got their actual like brawl
Yeah.
there towards the end.
Yeah.
That was
No,
was
that was
great.
fun.
Yeah. And it's, for all the people that are like Hulk needs to smash more. Smart Hulk sucks. Like, there you go. There's your little bit of Hulk smashiness.
Yeah. So that clapping thing at the end is that comic book from
Yeah.
the comic books.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
It's called the Thunderclap.
And she does like multiple where he just does like one.
I don't know.
And
I just know that that's like his big famous move. He does it in the Incredible Hulk movie.
Yeah, I remember it, but hers seemed to be more of like a sonic wave kind of a sound thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where his seemed more like just pressure.
Yeah.
Pushing you back.
I'm not sure because I'm not like... This makes me want to read more She-Hulk comics.
Yeah, I loved how quick and adaptive she was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, she's a very intelligent person. She learns super fast.
Yeah.
And I loved that about her.
Yeah. Yeah, she's kind of I wouldn't say like a little bit of a know-it-all. She's got like, she could back it up.
I just think she's just really well-rounded. She had her initial kind of freak out about it, but during that whole part, she was pretty composed,
Mm-hmm.
which she talked about in the episode of being able to kind of keep control of her emotions because on a daily basis in her profession and as a woman, she has to really keep it together because people are we're not
obnoxious.
Yeah, we don't need to get into it too much, but as a woman in her profession, it seems like there's a lot of opportunities to lose your temper.
Mm-hmm.
So she's had a lot of practice controlling that, and I just really appreciated how well-rounded she was and how she kept her head on her shoulders. And like she had that initial freak out moment, but she got her composure right back again and is just going to accept it and move on.
Yeah. I do like how they have like talked about the, I guess like sexist part of the show, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the lawyer, the guy lawyer, when he's like, "You're gonna screw this up," or "Don't screw this up, Walters."
Yeah, it's crazy how that still exists.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of see it more with you because you talk about it more, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
It's still a man's world,
Mm-hmm.
and that really sucks because there are some really strong, powerful women out there who could do a lot of things better than the men who've done things,
Yeah.
Don't want to get too much into it. Like, obviously the male lawyer in this show who kind of told her not to screw it up. Well, we didn't get to see her closing statements, her closing argument, because we got interrupted, but I would assume she would do a better job than he did, or
Yeah.
he could do. So that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, and from what I've heard and like read in some of the critic reviews, because they got to see the first 4 episodes, like there is more of that in the show.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was really tastefully done. Like, it didn't push any
like agenda.
Yeah, the whole episode, I noticed a couple of subtle things, but it did not push any agenda on anybody. Not that I think anything else has done that, but I don't think people are going to be able to say that it did.
Mm-hmm.
So
the people that are like stuck in their ways about that are, the assholes that are still like, oh, the guy would have done a better job as a closing statement.
yeah,
They will still think that, and they will think the show sucks because of that.
Yeah,
So it is what it is with them, but uh I I'm with you on the like it was like tastefully done.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it didn't take you out of the moment, but it was like noticeable and like not funny, but like how they do his lines were a little like like a chuckle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that moment where her and Bruce were sitting down together and he was trying to do some like spiritual or healing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of talked about having to control her emotions on a daily basis, and just that whole scene with her explaining it to him, you could tell that he never truly understood until that moment.
Yeah.
That's a real thing that women have to deal with.
Yeah. I get it.
I really liked the way that he reacted to that.
Mm-hmm.
It was very genuine.
Yeah. So I did enjoy that aspect of the show a lot.
Yeah, and then one other thing, I mean, things are kind of popping into my head as we talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked how she's still really wanting to focus on being a lawyer.
Yeah.
Because she's worked so hard to get there. And I feel like most people would not go that route.
Yeah.
Myself included. Like if I if I had superpowers, the first thing that I would be done with would be my job. But she really wants that to be her number one priority.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
Yeah, and I read another review, and he was, it was so stupid. So they said that they never brought up her student loan debt, even though she did during that whole like sequence of her talking about like still wanting to be an attorney.
So the review basically said that she didn't bring that up.
Yeah.
Why would they say that in a review? And also, why would that matter? Just in general.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's so weird.
I think it was talking about like how the show didn't make any sense, like because she's got school debt loan and blah blah blah. But like, it was so stupid. I read through the article and I'm like, God, this guy is a piece of shit.
Probably just trying to get a weird spin on something so that he can get views or something.
Yeah, I'm with you on the whole like. I like that she still wants to be a lawyer because that's what she wants to do. She doesn't want to be a Hulk. I mean, she's stuck being a Hulk, but like if she wants to be a lawyer, she can be a lawyer.
Yeah. Okay, so the end of the show, she is kind of arguing a case and she's getting ready to do her closing argument.
Mm-hmm.
And we get someone bust through, like breaks down the wall.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. The character.
I don't know much about her. I just know her name is Titania.
Titania.
Yeah.
So what are some of her abilities? Obviously, she's super strong. Not, you don't know anything?
Not much on Titania.
I'm interested to see where that goes, or if that was literally the only thing we're going to get from that character. Because it kind of seems like that's the only thing we're going to get from that character.
Yeah.
Is that scene.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm no She-Hulk expert.
Mm-hmm.
But watching this and then doing the coasters through that comic run that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Really makes me want to read those.
Yeah.
Comics.
I agree.
So maybe be more of an expert in a couple weeks if I actually read the comics and kind of understand like, hey, this is more where she's coming from. And like, this is like, oh, this is an actual, like, I know Titania is like one of her main villains.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like some like
okay.
stand-in villain.
Okay, interesting.
So she will show back up in the show at some point doing something. But beyond that, I'm not 100% sure like what they're going to do with the character in the show.
Okay. Also, one thing we forgot to mention, they broke the fourth wall.
Yes.
2 times, right?
More like 3 times. So
Okay.
they broke the fourth wall whenever she says like, oh, I bet you're wondering like, how did I get my Hulk powers?
Right. And then at the end, she kind of talks again. And then they're in the middle.
Yeah. When they're rebuilding the bar.
Yeah. He doesn't mean that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah. And makes me curious of like, where does the fourth wall breaking go from there? Like, what does she say in the next episode that's going to break the fourth wall? Like, this is the moment that I realize I screwed up when I should have been watching this person. And like it shows like another perspective.
Yeah.
Like she's narrating her story,
Mm-hmm.
kind of. Maybe we'll get something like that, but I have no idea. But
Okay.
she did break the fourth. I know she did break the fourth wall in the comics a lot.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah,
I just love her. This
She-
is so awesome.
yeah. She did it before not Daredevil. I had Daredevil on the mind
I
because
know
She-Hulk.
we're gonna talk about it in a minute.
Deadpool. She did it before
Oh,
Deadpool
right.
broke the fourth wall. She was technically like the first one to do it. So
Cool. Yeah, dude. This is gonna be so fun. It really makes me want to do a whole bunch of our craft shows and makes me want to do like Comic Cons because those people actually appreciate the characters. And I just have so much fun making our coasters.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite things to do. It's just we don't ever have time. But I made I started making some today.
Yeah.
And I made several She-Hulk ones.
Yeah, I saw.
And I don't know, it's just so fun. But I love getting to do craft shows, and when we go to comic book conventions and we have a booth, it's fun to meet people who are excited about the characters.
Yeah.
Cuz like what we make is it's pretty specific. So
it's very specific,
so-
especially the character.
So like most of the time, like if we're just doing a craft show, people pretty much buy like Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Batman, Spider-Man, pretty classic ones. But when we go to comic book conventions, people are like, do you have Moon Knight? Do you have this? Do you have this? And it's just kind of fun.
Yeah, I remember one time there was some kid asked, "Do you have a Phantom X?"
Mm-hmm.
Which is a very specific mutant
Yeah.
Weapon X program, and I'm like, wow, that's extremely specific. And I might have one, but we ended up selling it before that. But I was just like, it was one of those
I
moments.
remember that exact one you're talking about.
It was
I
our
don't know
first
why.
show, our first
Yeah.
our first craft show
Yeah.
that we did.
I remember we sold like a couple Pink Panther ones.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, that was kind of a tangent. Well, it's relevant to me because I worked on them today,
Yeah.
and it's craft show season.
Yeah, and
Yay.
the She-Hulk ones are like so good.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, it really like watching the show really makes me want to read the actual comics. For like, I read comics, but like read her comics for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I don't read comics, so I probably won't. But I know that you actually will, and I'm sure you're going to over the next few weeks imbue that knowledge onto me during the podcast.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun for both of us. Okay, so you want to talk about Daredevil? I mean, he didn't make an appearance in this episode, but I was kind of thinking at the beginning when she was working with her paralegal friend and the other lawyer.
That he was going to show up.
Yes, I thought it was going to pan up and it was going to be him.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's not.
I kind of thought that this morning too, I guess. Which would have been cool. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it would have been like, oh, it's too early for that.
Mhm.
Because everyone would be freaking out like, he was in the episode 1. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then they wouldn't watch episode 2.
Yeah.
Well, they should because it's still really good. But
Yeah.
anyway,
But yeah, I kind of had that thought, especially because it was a slow pan.
so I would assume that he's going to probably make an appearance like middle of the season, episode 3 or 4. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say like middle of the season to the end of the season.
Mhm.
Like he'll definitely show up sometime in the middle of the season, I think. But like we'll see him more at the end of the season
Okay.
kind of deal.
I'm so excited for that cameo.
I'm so excited for all these cameos. If there's as many cameos as like what they're saying, it's going to be freaking awesome.
Okay, so refresh our memory. What are the cameos that have been confirmed and what are the cameos that are rumors?
Confirmed cameos. Obviously, we're getting Abomination,
Right.
Emil Blonsky, which I'm assuming he's going to probably show up in the next episode. Obviously, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is technically a cameo.
Yeah.
Daredevil. Man, I totally blanked out. Oh, Wong.
Oh, yeah.
Wong. He's going to show up because he's
I'm
been in a teaser trailer or a trailer for it.
That's really interesting. Does he have anything to do with Abomination? Because in
of
Shang-Chi, yeah.
I don't know what he has to do with Abomination, but I know they were together.
Yeah.
And I know he's like reformed, or Emil's kind of reformed. And apparently, from what somewhere I read, he's supposed to be like a motivational speaker
Oh, okay.
as Abomination.
Interesting. Okay.
Or Emil Blonsky when he like transforms back into his human form. So that's the ones that I for sure know of. And the potential ones. Oh, and Frogman. That's a super villain, I guess, or a superhero. I'm not sure which one.
Okay.
But he's supposed to show up. There was a clip of him in one of the trailers as well.
Okay.
Rumored cameos. Number one for me would be Ben Grimm the Thing.
Yeah.
And
I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see.
We'll see. I'm hoping it happens. That'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking because I wasn't expecting you to ask me this.
That's okay. We can just move on.
Yeah, I was just going to say Ben Grimm's been like the biggest one. Because everyone, or the Fantastic Four. Because She-Hulk has a lot to do with the Fantastic Four because she was a Fantastic Four member for a little while. So she's like very close to that side of like that team.
What else did you want to talk about in this episode today?
I don't know. I just really enjoyed the show. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot wait to see. Well, one, I'm excited that we get 9 episodes.
Oh, it's 9.
Yeah.
Huh. I guess I just thought it was 6. I don't know why.
Because everything else is 6 episodes except WandaVision.
Okay.
Which was,
well,
I think,
9 episodes. That's amazing.
Yeah. 9 30-minute episodes. I think this episode ended up being with the end credit scene, the post credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up being 32 minutes.
Yeah, so you said every episode will have a post credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely a show that I'm going to be excited every Thursday to watch. Like, I'm going to look forward to it.
Yeah.
Which is good, obviously.
Yeah. I said this during Miss Marvel, but like this show really now has like a good chance to be my number 1 Disney Plus show for sure.
Yeah.
Because I really like the Hulk, and like we've gotten a lot of Hulk in the like MCU. Just the more character development that they had on him, because we had practically 20 minutes of him like talking to Jennifer. So great on that part.
Yeah, it was a good refresher of how long he's been dealing with all of his issues.
Mm-hmm.
And even as an extremely intelligent person, how hard it's been for him to go through that. And you could tell it was hard for him to see it be easy for her.
Oh, yeah. And see, that's why I kind of think it like eats at him in the back of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
So like eventually it's going to drive him like that won't specifically drive him crazy, but like it'll be something that reverts him back into more like of a savage Hulk.
Yeah. Interesting.
Just you kind of pick up on that a little bit, maybe.
He was definitely like super high energy.
Mm-hmm.
A little like crazy acting.
Yeah.
You could just tell there's a lot going on in his brain, and he has to like try to get it out as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just comes across like super high energy.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
Yeah. No, I love Ruffalo. So
yeah. I mean, in real life, that would stress me out to be around somebody who's like that high energy.
Mm-hmm.
But for the show, I liked it.
Something else that I was gonna say earlier is that I love that he's doing all these like little things where he's like out there messing with the frame of the bed. He's like, now that you're a Hulk, all your furniture has to be reinforced. And he's holding that grinder with 2 fingers and not like his hand.
Yeah.
It's like a pretty big grinder that you would hold with like your whole hand or your like 2 hands.
Yeah.
And he's holding it with like 1 hand.
Yeah.
Or 2 fingers. And it's just like little things like that you don't really ever see.
Well, yeah, and like the double wardrobe thing, he's like, you're going to have 2 wardrobes.
Mm-hmm.
One for you in your everyday life and one for the Hulk.
Yeah.
Spandex.
Spandex is your new best friend. Spandex. I love that part. Also, the whole drinking thing was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And which is also it kind of lines up with Steve Rogers, because Steve Rogers can't get drunk because his body metabolizes it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the comics, Bruce Banner's dad, I cannot think of his dad's name, was pretty much contracted to make hold on, I'm trying to think if I'm getting movies and TV shows mixed up. But anyway, that was supposed to be the Hulk becomes the Hulk because he was supposed to be making like a Weapon X
Mm-hmm.
formula for super soldiers.
Okay.
And that's how the Hulk became the Hulk. I think I'm getting movies and comics mixed up, but
We do these podcasts every time, like late at night, and
yeah,
at the end of the day, it's
10:15 right now, and I've been up since 5,
mm-hmm.
and I'm exhausted. So
yeah, so let's wrap it up for today.
Okay.
But the plan, obviously, going forward, is to do an episode every single week on She-Hulk.
Yeah.
If we are able to squeeze in other episodes, we will definitely do that. We might be able to get another one in next week. I think we should be able to do that. But obviously, we'll, at bare minimum, we'll have an episode of She-Hulk every week.
Every Friday, hopefully. As long as you don't close on a Thursday night, which would be our luck.
Yeah.
Because you never close. I feel like you never close on Thursdays. But now that we're doing this podcast and She-Hulk comes out on Thursdays now, you're going to start closing on Thursdays.
Yeah, that's usually how that works.
Because that's exactly what happened last.
Oh, my God.
Do you close on next Thursday?
Yeah.
Wow.
That is hilarious. It's not hilarious. It sucks. Yeah, but I close next Thursday.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen because we had talked about in the podcast previously that the Miss Marvel episodes came out on Wednesday, and she closed like 3 Wednesdays in a row.
I know. What
And
the hell?
Yeah.
I gotta quit my job.
We'll at least try to get a podcast out on She-Hulk Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
Whatever comes first. So.
Okay.
And we'll try to get other podcasts out. We're just been pretty busy right now, especially with making coasters because we got quite a few shows coming up that we got to make some money at.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening today. We hope you enjoyed the show. I would love to hear from you on our Instagram at Beyond the Ears Podcast, what you thought of She-Hulk. What did you think of this episode? If you noticed anything that we didn't notice, let us know. We typically try to do a post when we post a new episode. Yeah, just thank you guys for listening, and we hope you enjoy the show.